Tired of soggy countertops and cluttered sinks? What if a single rack could clean up your whole kitchen vibe, like instantly? Today we're counting down the 5 best oversint dish drying racks, from good to absolute game changers, so there's zero guesswork before hitting add to cart. Expect real-world impressions, what fits and what doesn't, stability under load, how smart the attachments really are, and those little quirks no one mentions but everyone notices. Stick around to the end, because rack number 1 surprised me with capacity, rigidity, and a very that's why it costs more build. Let's get into it. 5. Kitsure over-the-sink dish drying rack. So the Kitsure comes in with a clean 2-tier design and honestly, a ton of storage for a footprint that doesn't feel hulking. Large baskets, a utensil holder, a knife holder, a cutting board slot, and hooks make it feel like someone thought through the morning rush, which I appreciate. The layout drains straight into the sink, and those 4 suction cups on the frames do a surprisingly decent job anchoring the rack when it's loaded up with plates and bowls. No wobble drama during a normal day's use. The coating is smooth and easy to wipe. After a few sessions of greasy pans and soap residue, a quick pass with a damp cloth had it looking new again. The size flexibility helps a lot if the sink is in that not too big, not too small range. Kitsure says it adjusts from about 30.0 to 33.9 in and wide, and that sweet spot works for most standard single or double basins in apartments and newer homes. I mean, I'm a fan of hardware that adapts instead of forcing a remodel. Now, here's where it falters a little. The rack's rust-proof claim is about material plus coating, and while the protective finish does help, a few user anecdotes mention internal oxidation on parts out of the box. It's not something I saw, but it's enough to mention if long-term spotless cosmetics are a priority. Number 4. MERRYBOX over-the-sink dish drying rack. MERRYBOX comes in with a 2-tier stainless build, a familiar modular layout, and crucially adjustable length from roughly 25.6 to 33.5 inches with a height around 20.7 inches, so it fits a wide band of single and double sinks without making the faucet unusable, as long as faucet height is reasonable. The plate basket has workable depth, and the included cutting board holder and hooks let the rack pull double duty as a mini organizer. Nice for compact kitchens that need vertical storage with quick reach. In day-to-day use, that adjustability is the hero. When moving it from a smaller rental sink to a wider one, the frame settles well once tightened, and the stainless finish shrugs off splashes without needing constant babying. Draining is straightforward. Because everything sits over the basin, water goes where it should. Goodbye dish mats. I mean, we love a set-and-forget cleanup. But well, MERRYBOX isn't flawless. First, the tolerance band for faucet height matters. If the faucet is tall or arched, and especially if there's a pull-down head, measure twice. Remember, some setups get awkward if the faucet arcs into the rack's usable space. Second, although the length expandability is generous, the overall rigidity is best when used mid-range. Pushed to either extreme, there's a bit more flex than I'd like when fully loaded with cast iron and heavy ceramics. Doable, but you'll feel it if you tap the frame while drying. Number 3. ADBIU over-the-sink dish drying rack. Moving into the top 3, ADBIU brings that expandable length, height-forward stance that's meant to play nicely with wider sinks and taller backsplashes, with product options spanning roughly the 32.5 to 37 in height class, depending on setup, and multiple baskets for plates, bowls, utensils, and cutting boards built into the ecosystem. In practice, it feels like a bigger kitchen's rack. More vertical breathing room, more hooks where you want them, and configuration flexibility without feeling fussy. During everyday use, the stability is notably improved versus budget frames. Tap the rack while loaded, and it responds with a damped thud rather than a rattle. Glasses dry quickly on the rim wires. Plates stand confidently without tooth-to-tooth clinks. The wire spacing and basket depth strike a nice balance, tight enough to secure small saucers, open enough for airflow that actually speeds drying. The stainless finish resists fingerprints and cleans quickly. A weekly wipe down keeps it crisp. The biggest reason ADBIU lands at number 3 is how forgiving it is when mixing loads. Big cutting boards, tall colanders, random lunchboxes all find a spot without causing a traffic jam. Hooks are sturdy enough that ladles and tongs don't swing into chaos when you brush past. And for households that hand wash daily, the everything in one zone feel really cuts down on countertop sprawl. Any drawbacks? Not much beyond the typical measure first rule, and the reality that if your sink is truly narrow, the vertical profile may feel imposing. Two, PUSDON Oversint Dish Drying Rack. PUSDON is one of those racks that just works for most people, most kitchens, most days. You get the full oversint utility, drainage straight into the basin, modular accessories for plates, bowls, knives, cutting boards, and utensils, and an adjustable length format that lets it slot into the common sink sizes without redesigning your counter. The stainless build is confidence-inspiring. Wipe, dry, done. In use, the thing that stands out is load comfort. Stack dinner for 4, throw in a pan or 2, and it remains planted and calm. The baskets are thoughtfully spaced, and the utensil holder doesn't feel like an afterthought. It's deep enough to keep forks from tipping out when you jostle the rack. Cutting boards stand vertical without wobble. The perimeter wires are smooth, so delicate glasses don't snag. Another plus, the overall footprint stays respectful of backsplash outlets and windowsills. If there's a kitchen window above the sink, very common, the PUSDON's proportions tend not to block light or collide with handles. It's also less sensitive to faucet shapes than some budget frames. Just check the faucet height and you're usually green-lighted. If I nitpick, the default hook count is good but not abundant. Heavy utensil users might want a couple extra hooks to fully optimize the second tier. And depending on the exact variant, the top basket mesh can be slightly tighter, which is great for small dishes, but means drying large frying pans may require using the side arms or leaning technique. 1. VNKZI Oversint Dish Drying Rack. And at number 1, VNKZI. This is where full stainless steel construction, serious adjustability, and big boy capacity come together in a way that feels premium the moment it's assembled. The rack expands from about 25.98 to 36.61 enand, which is a huge fit range for anything from a cozy condo sink to a wider farmhouse basin. Capacity is excellent, and the oversint design means water goes straight into the bowl, no swampy mats, no puddles creeping toward the toaster. In day-to-day use, the standout is rigidity under load. Heavier stacks, think ceramic dinner plates, stainless pots, a soaked cutting board, don't coax any swaying, and the verticals keep their geometry even when the rack is stretched toward the upper end of its range. The wirework is consistent and smooth. Dishes seat confidently, and glasses don't chatter when you're unloading. It sounds silly, but that quiet sturdiness is what separates a nice idea rack from something that becomes part of the kitchen. The accessory kit is genuinely useful rather than gimmicky. Dedicated knife holder, utensil caddy, cutting board slot, multi-purpose baskets, and hooks that don't pop off if you bump them. Organization improves in a way that's visible. Counters look clearer, the sink area becomes a vertical station, and cleanup feels more linear. Wash, place, walk away. And when it comes to cleaning the rack itself, the stainless surfaces rinse and wipe clean with minimal effort. Final thought. If the goal is taming clutter while speeding drying and keeping counters dry, number 3 through number 1 all deliver in spades, with VNKZI offering the strongest blend of fit range, load stability, and long-term stainless durability. Kitsure and MERRYBOX are solid budget-friendly entries. Just mind faucet height and setup details to get the most out of them.